The founding fathers of the US made a serious mistake. They gave far too much power to the office of president. The main reason for the Revolutionary War was to eliminate kings, but then they gave the president the powers of a king. The whole purpose of the rule of law is so that everyone is equal under the law, but then they gave the president the right to pardon criminals. The design of the Constitution left it open for an unscrupulous president to come along one day and exploit the weaknesses in the system. That has now happened with the election of Donald Trump. The playbook of fascism is now being rolled out. Corruption is the order of the day. Another fundamental weakness in the Constitution is that they limited all states to 2 senators, regardless of population. So Wyoming, with a population of 600,000, sends 2 senators to Congress, and California, with a population of 40 million, also sends 2 senators. The value of a Senate vote from Wyoming is 67 times that of a voter from California. So much for one vote, one value. There are more conservative states with a low population than Democrat states with a high population, resulting in the Senate being more conservative than it would be if there was one vote, one value. And the Senate approves and appoints Supreme Court judges. So we have a Supreme Court that is 6-3 conservative judges to liberal judges, and the rulings have demonstrated this, with several rulings in recent times that obstruct the US democracy even further. These rulings have helped to set the scene for the advent of an authoritarian government under Donald Trump. In the Trump versus the United States case in 2024, the court ruled that the president is immune from prosecution when acting as president, which is a very strange and alarming legal precedent. In another case, Citizens United versus the Federal Electoral Commission, the court ruled that corporate political spending is protected free speech under the First Amendment. They actually set into law the ludicrous idea that money is speech and that a company is a person, completely ignoring the obvious fact that this would undermine the integrity of elections and allow corporate interests to drown out the mass of individual voices in politics. This disturbing ruling ushered in the unlimited power of billionaires to buy the political process. This is called state capture and is profoundly undemocratic. Hence, we got a multi-billionaire buying the presidential election in 2024, and in return given a position where he could steal the private data of the population and sack and destroy the government departments who were investigating his companies for breaking the law. The founding fathers have made some serious mistakes that have led to the advent of the current fascism, complete with a thuggish brigade of police who arrive in unmarked cars and do not declare their name, badge number, or the agency they belong to. They kidnap people from the streets and without due process send them to other countries and even to hellish prisons in other dictatorships. Western civilization is founded on habeas corpus, the rule that says that nobody can be arrested without being presented before a judge to have their case heard. This is fundamental to the safety and security of all people in a country. Think about it. An unmarked van arrives at your house. A bunch of men who won't identify themselves takes away a member of your household. How do you even know they are police? And even if they are, it can never be the police who decide guilt or innocence. That absolutely must be decided by a court of law. Habeas corpus says that if the police arrest somebody, they have to present that person before a court. If a government, a president, has ordered that the police can arrest somebody and then send them to a special concentration camp or to another country, especially a jail in another country, then he has destroyed an essential and fundamental pillar of a civilized country. The country no longer can be called a country based on the rule of law. The US is no longer a country of laws. It's a dictatorship. And fear begins to seep into every level of the society and government. People are worried. The other retrograde ruling of the Supreme Court is the Heller case from 2008 regarding the Second Amendment and gun rights. This also contributes to the advent of fascism in the USA. The Supreme Court, strangely, in a gross example of judicial activism, decided that the Second Amendment was not what it actually says it is, a clause about the ability of a state to raise a militia. It's not about the right to own guns for personal security, but that's what they said it was. Another law in the US Constitution is that the president chooses the cabinet from non-elected people. In the UK, Canada and Australia, the Prime Minister chooses the cabinet from elected members of Parliament. These cabinet members have much more power than the US cabinet. Under the Westminster system, the Prime Minister is considered the first among equals. He or she can be removed by their party during their term and replaced with another Prime Minister. That is not the case with the US President, except under the 25th Amendment, only for reasons of personal incapacity. So not for political reasons or any other reason. Hence, we have an executive branch of a government consisting of a single person with far too much power for the safety and security of the Republic. The risk is that a person of very poor character and with a dangerous personality disorder can get elected and do great harm to the nation. So in conclusion, the Founding Fathers did make mistakes in structuring this Constitution, and they've left it open to what we are seeing now, which is a takeover of all of the conventions of decency and checks and balances that a good civilization has built into it. But apparently the Constitution is designed in a way that's left open the possibility that an unscrupulous person can get around some of those things. We can only hope that there is enough left in the system as a counterbalance against this, but things are looking pretty bad at the moment. So that's the message of my video today about the structure of the US Constitution. Of course, it's very difficult to change constitutions, but I do think that they do need to at some point. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to talking to you next time. Feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.